Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into one of the most talked about events caught on camera in recent days, an incident that immediately grabbed global attention and raised intense discussions everywhere. The footage showing explosions on the Crimea Bridge spread rapidly across social media, news outlets, and analysis channels, and people around the world have been trying to understand what really happened, why it happened, and what the wider implications might be. In this video we break down the key moments, the visual evidence, the reactions that followed, and how this event could influence the larger situation in the region moving forward. The video itself begins in a very ordinary way, showing regular traffic moving across the bridge like any other day. The scene looks calm, with cars maintaining their lanes and trucks moving steadily across the span. Nothing seems unusual. And that normality is exactly what makes the sudden explosion so shocking. In just a split second, a bright flash burst from one side of the roadway, followed by a powerful shockwave that tears through the bridge surface. The camera footage shows debris scattering in multiple directions, and vehicles close to the blast are thrown into chaos. The sound, even though captured from a distance, is unmistakable, and within moments smoke begins to rise above the impact point. People watching the video for the first time often describe it as surreal because the explosion comes without warning. The camera doesn't shake much at first, but shortly after the initial flash, you can see vibrations ripple across the frame. This suggests the force of the explosion traveled far enough to impact surrounding structures or the device capturing the footage. Whether the camera belonged to a security system, a dashboard device, or a bystander is not entirely clear. But what is clear is that the footage provides a direct visual of the moment the explosion disrupted the bridge. As more angles and clips surfaced online, analysts began breaking down the footage frame by frame. Some videos show vehicles closer to the epicenter, others focus on the plume of dark smoke rising into the air and drifting across the water below. What stands out most is how quickly the situation escalated. One moment the bridge is functioning normally, and the next it is engulfed in smoke and sparks, creating a scene that looks straight out of a disaster film. But here, it is real, and the footage captures the intensity in raw detail. After the explosion, movement on the bridge comes to an almost immediate halt. Cars that were near the blast appear damaged or immobilized, and drivers farther away stop as confusion spreads. The camera captures some people stepping out of their vehicles cautiously, looking toward the smoke, trying to understand what has happened. This moment of uncertainty is something that resonates with many viewers because it reflects the sudden shift from routine to crisis. The footage then shows the fire growing stronger, with flames licking the surface of the roadway. The smoke thickens rapidly, turning from gray to a darker shade, signaling the burning of asphalt, metal, and possibly vehicle fuel. You can almost feel the heat just from watching the video, as the flames climb upward and pieces of the bridge's surface collapse into the water. What is particularly striking is how the smoke covers the sky in just a few minutes, showing how intense the burn became. Once the footage circulated online, reactions poured in from every direction. Many people were shocked not only by the explosion itself but also by how quickly and widely the video spread. Some viewers were focused on the technical aspects, analyzing the brightness of the flash, the direction of the shockwave, and the structural damage visible in the aftermath. Others were more concerned about what this meant for safety, travel routes, and the stability of the region. In moments like these, social media becomes a hub for speculation, discussion, and sometimes misinformation, making it even more important to focus on verified details and clear observations from the visual evidence. Experts who studied the footage pointed out details such as the shape of the initial flash, the size of the smoke plume, and the pattern of the debris. These clues often help determine the type of explosion and where it might have originated. However, with limited information available in the early stages, it is always difficult to draw immediate conclusions. The footage captures what happened, but understanding why it happened requires deeper investigation, official reports, and time. What stood out most in the aftermath was the tense atmosphere surrounding the event. Statements began emerging from different sides, each responding to the explosion and discussing possible consequences. The footage of the explosion made the situation even more dramatic because visual evidence carries a powerful emotional impact. People all over the world saw the same moment unfold on their screens, and it fueled a wave of reactions, from fear to anger to calls for calm. While watching the explosion on camera can be alarming, it also underscores the importance of verifying information and avoiding assumptions. A single video can show the moment but not the full story behind it. This is why analysts emphasize looking at multiple angles, reviewing official updates, and understanding the broader context before forming conclusions. The footage became a centerpiece for discussions, but it is only one part of a much larger picture. In the footage, the bridge's structure appears heavily affected near the impact zone. The surface looks torn apart, metal rails bent and distorted, and smoke continues to rise for several minutes. The intensity of the flames suggests that something highly combustible was involved, and the heat seems strong enough to deform heavy materials. Watching this unfold reminds viewers of how vulnerable even large constructions can be under certain circumstances. As the camera remains focused on the bridge, more emergency lights appear in the distance. Whether these are rescue boats, fire units or other emergency responders is not fully clear from the angle, but their movement suggests a quick response to the situation. The footage ends with the bridge still covered in smoke, the roadway severely damaged, and the uncertainty of what would come next hanging heavily in the air. The incident quickly gained global attention, and within hours commentators, analysts and news anchors were all talking about the explosion. Many used the footage as a reference point for their discussions, explaining frame by frame what viewers were seeing. This gave the video even more visibility and made it one of the most widely shared clips of the moment. People from different countries, speaking different languages, all watching the same dramatic explosion captured by a single camera. As more information was gathered, the conversation shifted from shock to analysis. The key questions revolved around the extent of the damage, the implications for regional transportation, and the potential political fallout. The footage, while captivating, also pointed toward logistical challenges. Bridges like this play an important role in connecting regions, transporting supplies and supporting local economies. Impacting such infrastructure carries consequences far beyond the location of the blast itself. For many viewers, the most unsettling part of the footage was how normal everything looked right before the explosion. Cars were driving casually, people were going about their day, and nothing suggested danger. This sudden contrast is what makes the footage so intense, because it shows how quickly and unexpectedly things can change. The feeling is similar to witnessing a natural disaster or an unforeseen accident. One moment everything seems fine, and the next moment chaos erupts. People returning to the video often pause at the exact moments before the blast hits. Some look for signs in the distance, small movements, shadows or anything that might indicate what was about to happen. But the video reveals no warning, reinforcing the sudden nature of the incident. This unpredictability is part of what makes explosive footage so unsettling, because it captures the moment of surprise in real time. As analysts reviewed the footage, they studied the smoke direction, the brightness and pattern of the explosion, and the material falling into the water. These tiny details often help experts understand the mechanics of what occurred, whether it involved external impact, internal ignition or structural failure triggered by something else. The fact that multiple videos appeared later gave more angles to analyze, strengthening the overall understanding of the event. In conversations worldwide, the footage sparked debates not just about the explosion, but about the fragility of infrastructure, the consequences of rising tensions and the importance of safety measures. The video served as a reminder that events like this have far-reaching effects, and not just physically but psychologically as well. People seeing dramatic explosions can feel a sense of worry, whether they live nearby or far away, because visual evidence creates an emotional response that written reports often do not. As time passed, additional details emerged, helping to clarify parts of the situation. Though many questions still remained, the video remained a central reference point, especially for those trying to make sense of the timeline. Viewers often replay the footage slowly, examining each moment to understand how the explosion unfolded. Some study the trajectory of debris, others focus on the initial flash and smoke burst. All of this reflects the human desire to understand dramatic events when they happen unexpectedly. Although dramatic and unsettling, Footage like this also highlights the resilience of responders who react to crises, whether they are firefighters, emergency medical teams or engineers assessing structural integrity. Their role becomes crucial in moments of sudden disaster. The camera footage showing the explosion is only the first part of the story. What follows is the long process of recovery, repair and investigation. In the days following the event, many people continued to revisit the video. Some did so to stay updated, others to analyze details, and some simply to understand what everyone was talking about. The footage remained widely shared, becoming one of the most memorable visual records of recent events. The shock on camera, combined with the dramatic plume of smoke, ensured that the clip would remain part of public discussion for a long time. Even as more information becomes available over time, the footage retains a unique place because it shows the raw moment of the explosion in real time. No matter how many expert reports or official statements are released, visual evidence has a way of staying in people's minds. The clip is powerful, dramatic and unforgettable, and it captures not only a physical event but also a moment in history that instantly became global news. As we reflect on the footage, it is important to remember that events like these are complex. There are always multiple sides, multiple investigations and multiple interpretations. A camera captures what occurs in front of its lens, but understanding the broader context requires careful analysis and verified information. Still, the video stands as a stark reminder of how quickly normal life can shift into chaos and how one moment can reshape an entire narrative. The explosion on the Crimea Bridge caught on camera will likely remain one of the most discussed pieces of footage for a long time. Whether people focus on the technical analysis, the emotional impact or the geopolitical implications, this video has already left its mark. As more updates come in and as investigations continue, the footage will remain the visual anchor that people refer back to. The moment when everything changed, captured in a single frame and shared around the world. And as we close this script, it's clear that footage like this is not just about what happened in that single instant but about how the world responds to sudden change, how people analyze dramatic events and how a single moment caught on camera can send ripples across continents.